What's up, boys and girls? Welcome back again. MMO Fix here, old school with you. And I'm not really sure what's going on, but it looks like we're MMORPG rich coming up. And it's been like a decade of shitty games, bad releases, and washed up fucking hopes. So I just can't believe it. Now, this video is specifically about the Warhammer MMO announcement. If you know, then you know. You were playing that shit back in 2008 and you knew. It was the bomb. That shit released a few years after World of Warcraft and EverQuest 2, and it just basically came out and added so many new elements to the genre. And one thing that it did well, that most of us old school gamers loved, was the player versus player. I can confidently say that even now, we don't have a game as good as that game was set up for player versus player. People would like literally just make low level tunes just to play the tier 1 and 2 PvP because it was like literally and still is some of the best MMORPG player versus player ever designed. So that being said, I'm sure if you played it, you're fucking super excited. That game was pumped too so hard by Mythic and EA with Paul Barnett, and it just got so much marketing and exposure. That was like the glory days of MMOs. It kind of launched with the momentum of all those games, and it did a very good job. The art style was really, really good. Warhammer IP is fucking amazing. So, I mean, it's one of the top IPs for role playing games out there. This game dying was a massive disappointment to most of us. And that came back, as basically a major kind of side blow to the community in 2013. A lot of us didn't see that coming. And when it did, that was basically like the start of the downfall of all MMOs. I'm not going to say like as a whole, everyone just fucking died when it did, but like Ion, Rift, Age of Conan, there was just a lot of them that just started getting mutilated, and World of Warcraft just started like kind of consuming the gaming population. EverQuest 2 died shortly after. I mean, yeah, it was pretty brutal. Anyways, back to this announcement. We've got Jackalyptic Games kind of coming out of left field, almost like the Believer Group. Now, Jackalyptic is a morph of the Jackalope games that basically comes from Jack Emmert. This is a guy that's been around forever in the MMORPG scene. He's done a lot of work. He is basically responsible for games like City of Heroes. He did work on Neverwinter, Star Trek Online, the DC Universe, and he has his own studio now. They seem to be working with NetEase in some way, shape, or form. I'm not really sure of the exact infrastructure going on with all of this, but I can tell you this. Jack Emmert was the CEO of Cryptic Studios and the Daybreak Austin studio. He basically said, yeah, no, fuck that, and then started his own studio. So in partnership with Games Workshop, we now know that this Jackalyptic new studio, founded by Jack Emmert, is working on literally a new Warhammer MMO. And it's been announced that they've got the IP and in early development, and here we go. So yeah, this video is just basically like a wow are we really getting this lucky to have like a new Lord of the Rings MMO, a new Warhammer MMO, and hopefully these two Western MMOs will set the stage going forward for other launches over here in the West. And hopefully we'll have less games that are made by the East and tailored to the West, and more games that are made by the West, tailored to the West. Because there is definitely a difference in the style of, the art and just the gameplay in general. And Warhammer was extremely successful. That game got 25 awards. It sold over 1 million copies. And at one point, I believe it had like 800,000 active subscribers peak. So yeah, it did very well. You can expect this game, because of how popular the Warhammer IP is, to definitely sell 1 million copies in today's day and age. There's no doubt about it. The big thing will be, can it maintain those players? How is the monetization model going to be? Hopefully they're not going to do this free to play shit. I'd much rather have a box and then a sub, even if it does cost a little bit more. In the long term, you're going to get the full game for less money. And yeah, I'd rather have access to all content for a single price rather than these paywalls. Even like Elder Scrolls with the DLCs, I don't really like that model. I definitely prefer the World of Warcraft model. I still believe that is the best pay model. Although now the way that they do it, where you basically, you can use in-game money to buy subscriptions and the tokens, and we're not going to get into that, but yeah, everything's kind of gotten corrupt. Hopefully one of these games, Lord of the Rings, but I mean, you got Amazon Studios dealing with that, and their monetization models are kind of all over the place. It depends who they're working with. Is it something that they're publishing in-house, or are they, publishing for a game that's developed somewhere else, or are they publishing and developing in-house? With the Lord of the Rings one, they are publishing and developing in-house. So that's probably going to see we're going to get what we want with that game, I'm guessing. But anyways, I'll wrap this up. Wicked excited about the Warhammer MMO. That game was so exciting on launch. Everybody was playing it. So many people still play the Warhammer private server. It's ridiculous. It's called Return of Reckoning. If you don't know, now you know. And you can look it up. It is kind of a pain in the ass just to even get on and play, I will warn you. But if you're looking for that old school nostalgia PvP, fix for Warhammer, it does do the trick. With this announcement, though, I'm sure a lot of players that, have been on that private server, or just have been dreaming of their old Ironbreaker or Greenskin, Chaos, Marauder, whatever it would be, are just so excited to be able to get back in a world that is that IP, because you're going to get such a, triple A title that's just to the nuts with the Western RPG style, with the orcs and, the elves and just everything that you like if you're into that type of RPG, which I am. So if you're excited, let me know, put a comment in. And with all this news, who knows, maybe we'll get some crazy shit like an EverQuest 3 pop out of left field. I'm not sure, but it's making things like Throne and Liberty and Chrono Odyssey and stuff like that less interesting to me, now knowing that I do have a couple of Western titles to look forward to. And the fucking best ones. Come on, let's be serious. If I asked you, hey, if you were going to have a new MMORPG and it could be anything, what would you pick? I'm sure a lot of people would go with Warhammer and Lord of the Rings and EverQuest, shit like that. World of Warcraft 2, you'll never see that. But yeah, Lord of the Rings, Guild Wars 3. I mean, Guild Wars 3 may come someday, but Guild Wars 2 is still It's such a modern game. It's probably the best current MMO. Why would they make a new one and cannibalize that? World of Warcraft's the same thing. So yeah, be happy that we've got a new Lord of the Rings title and there is no current Warhammer. That game literally died. So this will be a big deal. That game's going to be a massive deal. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great week and I hope to talk to you soon. Take it easy, guys and girls. Thanks.